Welcome into K-State Online. I am Mason Voth. That is Drew Galloway. Monday, starting the week off, and we've got plenty of portal talk coming your way. Let's just dive right into it, Drew, and I'll let you pick where we start because there's a lot of different things that we could hit on. But which K-State portal target do you think is the most important to start the show with today?
Let's dive in with Nizia Hunter from Cal. I think that's probably one that everybody wants to know. So Nizia Hunter from Cal, redshirt freshman this season, was a stud. For Cal, was by far their leading receiver, 5 touchdowns. Played pretty well in their season finale against SMU. I mean, SMU is a playoff team. He had 5 catches for 85 yards. Very, very, very wanted man out of the portal, and just about everybody who needs a receiver has been in contact with him. Notably, Oklahoma is the one that was surprising that they weren't on his final list of schools, but has really narrowed it down to just K-State and Nebraska right now. He wants to play with a younger quarterback that was highly ranked out of high school and has been pretty established. K-State and Nebraska have both of those. He'll be at Nebraska Wednesday and then K-State on Friday. And K-State has a legitimate chance here for a top, I think, 55 player in the On3 industry ranking for transfer portal guys. And I think that's a big deal because we all know that receivers probably the biggest worry about what next year's offense is going to look like. And you look at Hunter, and he can do a little bit of everything, can really go up and get it. 6'2", I believe, so a bigger receiver. And I think just being in this towards the end, because if you look, Hunter had a lot of schools that he was planning on visiting beforehand, canceled all of those, and now is just focusing on K-State, Nebraska.
Yeah, so I mean, with Nebraska getting the first visit, this can go one of two ways. You can like being Nebraska and thinking, okay, we get the first crack, we could shut this thing down, or you like being K-State, where you say, okay, he's going to be here last. We're going to get that last impression. Um, do, do you? Is there any concern that he doesn't make it to the K-State visit?
As of right now, no. It seems like he's going about this in a very mature way of like he wants to see all of his options. And really, you can see that by how he's narrowed down his schools. Like he knows what he is looking for. And also, yeah, Nebraska's in on a lot of other big name receivers. Eric Rivers from FIU, most notably. I saw him tweeting at Dylan Raiola yesterday or 2 days ago. So you got to think that if Eric Rivers was to fall Nebraska's way, that they probably come out of the Hunter sweepstakes, and that just leaves K-State.
Yeah, that would be the one thing that I kind of hold on to here and watch is, like you said, Nebraska. I've noticed some of the other names in the portal that people would recognize at receiver. They've been on in the mix for. So certainly, if one of those dominoes fall, that's a good thing for K State, and that might be what you're hoping for there. But Isaiah Hunter would be a good pickup because it's not just about the production he had last year, but it's also the fact that he has 3 years remaining. Okay, a lot of other ones to get to. I want to make sure we get this one in here because I want to get more of your reaction to it. I'm not sure how much is totally known about it at this point, but it came out that Kewan Brown, a running back from Louisville, was a target of K-State. Just wrapped up his first year of playing for a majority of the season, 47 carries, over 240 yards. K-State going to be losing DJ Giddens. We learned that Saturday evening. Where would this work out, and how does this make sense in your eyes?
This makes sense to me because you probably need a bigger running back that can play next year along with Joe Jackson. Because as much as everybody really loves Dylan Edwards, and I really love Dylan Edwards, I'm not sure if he's an every down running back at this level at 170 pounds. So you probably need somebody that is that bigger back to go with Joe Jackson. Because if you look at K-State's depth chart, they really separated them by these are our big backs, these are our small backs, and it was DJ Giddens, Joe Jackson on one, and then Dylan Edwards, Davon Rice, and LaJames White at the other one. So if you look from that perspective, like it makes sense because they need a bigger back that can play. And in a role with 105 roster spots, again, you need to find creative ways to kind of go about this. But I think Brown makes some sense because he is a big guy at running back.
Yeah, this is going to be one where Yeah, I think the K State side, the worry would be on if you're trying to get him. Um, just how much are you going to be able to kind of put out there as a hey, we can guarantee this? There's obviously a lot of competition that's going to be in this running back room at K State next year because Joe Jackson and Dylan Edwards are both guys that are going to touch the football a lot next season. So you have to try and sort through for Kewan Brown. Where do I fall on that? Now, again, I pointed out going into this year and a lot of these other years where early on and prior to his first year at K State, even at North Dakota State, Chris Klein was a guy that did like to use a lot of different running backs.
Yes.
So there would, I don't think, be a shortage of opportunities. And you also think then about, Joe Jackson and Kewan Brown would both be redshirt sophomores next year. Like there's still a lot of career left in them, a lot of time left on their clock. So this one to me is an interesting one to monitor, and I think this would be one of those that would be really nice for K State in terms of depth. Not necessarily a necessity for next season, but makes you feel a lot better about how that running back room looks as a total package.
Yeah, kind of like Jordan Dunbar last, I think it was like June,
Hmm.
July, when he was added. Like what we said was it was a good ad in the sense that he was a talented guy, but you probably didn't necessarily need him. Kind of the same similar track with Kewan Brown here.
Yeah, which we found out K State did not need him, and he is in the transfer portal. Actually, he's out of the portal now. He committed to Bowling Green
Yes,
recently, so he will
a
be
lot of
a
former Cats
Falcon.
on Bowling Green
Yeah,
now. RJ
yeah.
Garcia too.
Yeah, they're loading up there. Where you want to go next with some of the portal news out of the weekend?
Let's go Marquavius Moss next.
Okay, this is the official my guy of portal season. Last year it was Strap Thomas, RIP, still
R.I.P.
alive, just not alive in the program. He is in the transfer portal, but again another DB, and we know that K State, outside of what happened last year, has been really good with, in particular, their safety hauls in the transfer portal.
Yeah, I feel really good about where K State sits with Marquavius Moss. I mean, I don't have to get in too in depth with this one. Read the tea leaves. He was just in Manhattan. Announced his commitment date of December 19th. He's taking other visits, but I don't think it's insignificant that he posted that. And then also look at who he tagged in the tweet.
Yeah, yeah, no,
So
that's helpful.
yeah, so if you get some context clues, I feel really good about where K State sits. If I will probably make a prediction on Marquavius Moss probably the next day or so.
Love it. I love the energy right there. Fire up the RPM. Where else do you want to go portal wise before we hit on basketball before we exit?
The last one that we'll hit on, oh, we'll go with Amos.
Okay.
Amos Taylor is an offensive lineman from USC. Not a whole lot is actually known about him in the portal right now. But K State's in a very, very strong position after an official visit over the weekend. And it looks like Cal and Arizona State are the other schools that are really trying to get involved. And he may or may not visit there because K State did so well on the official visit. There is a lot of offensive linemen that K State's going after in the portal right now. And I don't think that there's one where I think that they have like less than a 10% chance on getting at the moment. So you keep seeing where these names keep popping up, and it's really interesting to me on how they're going to prioritize some of these guys because there's so many that they're really in on at this stage.
Yeah, there's a lot out there right now, and offensive lineman is kind of, I mean, that's the one that we know football in general can be a pretty in demand position because I think there's such a drop off between the good ones and then the not good ones, and I mean, you see just all over the place that you could be feeling good, but it takes somebody else swooping in that's a bigger program or more notable, and then you could lose your guy. I think that's the offensive line thing. Unless you get something nailed down immediately, I don't think you ever feel 100% about where guys sit. And as we know, these offensive linemen tend to be a little bit more low key and under the radar, as
Yes.
we found out with Easton Kilty last year, and we've seen with some of the offensive linemen already during this portal cycle. So
Yeah, I'll even throw out there that we'll just hit on this really quick that Teague Anderson, Utah State offensive lineman, Also visited Penn State after he was at K-State. Not sure after reading some of the stuff from what Penn State, their On3 site has put out post T. Anderson visit. Not sure if they're as much of a threat as I initially thought. It seems like it might actually end up being, ironically, again, K-State versus NC State.
How fascinating how that continues to work out. Yeah, that's probably a little surprising to the people out there. Before we hit on K-State basketball real quick, I want to remind everybody about the holiday season being here. And if you're like me and you were still looking for Christmas gifts for everybody over the weekend, and you're unlike me and you don't have dependents that you have to worry about, and you just are loaded, you can load on up your family with tickets to Ireland next year. You can give the gift of Ireland, and whether it's for yourself or the Wildcat fan in your life, an incredible trip to Ireland for the Aer Lingus College Football Classic is the perfect way to kick off the 2025 season. Enjoy all the sights, sounds, and excitement of Ireland while cheering on K-State in one of college football's most unique settings. Get ready for a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Visit cats2ireland.com to learn more. That's cats, the number 2, Ireland.com. And my phone was buzzing in the middle of that because somebody that is definitely actively trying to find gifts right now is trying to call me. That would be my grandma. I'm sure she is scrambling right now. Like, you didn't give me enough stuff on your list, or, you need to tell my wife to tell your wife to get more to me. It's not enough. So
your Ireland fun
Oh,
fact
and somebody just
today.
rang the doorbell. I'm going to go kick some big time ass. Who would do this when my daughter is sleeping? Jeez Louise.
Your Halloween fun fact today, or your Ireland fun fact today, Halloween originally originated in Ireland.
Oh, I love that. I love that. All right. Well, it seems like Elliot Voth may have recovered. So let's talk basketball right now. I mean, what are we doing? I don't need you ringing my doorbell when you deliver a package. It's going to be there. It's going to be fine. All right, she is waking up. Let's talk basketball real quick here. K-State getting ready to take on Drake tomorrow in T-Mobile Center. This is a must win for K-State because Drake has started off the season much better than people would have anticipated, but it's still a Missouri Valley team. It's still basically a home game. You should put them away. And I'll have something come out either today or tomorrow on this, but I went and kind of analyzed teams that would be in a similar position to K-State over the last handful of years. And based on what K-State has in front of them, there's a very select amount of teams in college basketball that have gotten at-large bids to the NCAA tournament with the resume that K-State is trending towards having. So what do you make of K-State and Drake tomorrow in T-Mobile Center?
Yeah, it's the biggest game of the season at this point for K-State. That is like no hyperbole. They have to find a way to win the game. Just doing a little bit of research on Drake and kind of getting ready for the game. 9-0 start for Drake. The metrics kind of hate them, like K-State hiring Bart Torvik and on Ken Palm. I think that K-State's also favored in both, so I imagine they'll be favored when the actual game spreads come out soon. You look at it, Drake is a really good offensive rebounding team. It's typically not a great sign for K-State. Drake is also good at forcing turnovers. Again, typically not a great sign for K-State. But Drake is also very turnover prone and likes to foul a lot. They also get to the line a lot, but they like to foul a lot. So it is kind of a coin flip, I think. I mean, it'll come out and pick and preview, but I did pick the Bulldogs.
Yeah, this goes to it being tough right now to pick the way that K-State has shown to be the team that they're playing as, that they're going to be able to go out and take care of business against a team that they should be better than, but will have a decent amount of fight and scrap to them. And if you look at the kind of type of team that K-State is currently, Drake has already played a handful of teams like that this season. They beat Miami by 11. They beat Florida Atlantic by 12. They beat Vanderbilt by 11. Like, it may suck to hear, but that's the kind of group of teams that K-State is mixed in with right now. That's kind of how K-State is playing in this thing. And so we're going to need to see a totally different K-State than what we've gotten through the first 9 games of the season for K-State to take care of business and win this game. And I think the way things are trending, I just don't know that that's a certainty. And I know that we've talked so much about the level of dysfunction that it's felt like this season has been for K-State. And until they really prove over the stretch of a string of games they can do that, it's tough to believe that they're going to do this. And I mean, the team that we've seen over the first 9 games of the season, they are losing tomorrow against Drake, and they are losing Saturday in Coke Arena against Wichita State. So you need to hope, if you're a K-State fan, if you're Jerome Tang, if you're one of the players that actually cares on this team, that this long, week and a half layoff that they just had was good and turns into something where you got things flipped around, you figured out your problems, and they're solved moving forward. But it just doesn't seem like a likely outcome based on what this team has told us throughout the year. I'm so set in my ways of, if a team tells you what they are, believe them.
That's probably who they are. Yeah.
Don't try to just throw it away and say, no, you know what, they can do that. And like, they'll tell us who they are. And this team has told us who they are. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't think that they're going to be able to do it right now. I mean, there is still the scenarios that play out in my head where I say, yes, I think this team can do this. I think they can be better. I think they could improve, but I don't think they will, or at least they haven't told us that they will. So the chance to turn people's thoughts around and get some respect back starts tomorrow night for K-State as they face a tough mid-major test in Drake before they have to hit the road and go down to Wichita on Saturday. Any other thoughts on the Cats and Bulldogs?
I'll say that one of the keys to the game, I think, other than rebounding and take care of the ball, is pace. Because Drake is one of the slowest teams in the country. If K-State can speed them up a little bit, you gotta like where K-State sits. Other than if it is a grinder type of game where it's I think Drake's average possessions this year is 64. If it's in that range, you really probably gotta like where Drake sits, because the grinder type games are what they want to do, and K-State wants to get out and run a little bit more. So if K-State can control the pace, that's something that I think that I would watch. But really, a lot of what has been the problem with K-State has been internally. So you just never know when a team has so many internal problems.
The problem this season has not been the talent that is on the team. We know that this is a very talented roster, but it's the stuff that controls the talent, the brain, that you have to kind of call into question with this K-State team, and they got to prove that it's all taken care of and moving in a better direction starting tomorrow night. So we'll have full coverage of K-State and Drake and the Wildcats getting back on the basketball court all throughout the day tomorrow, and then also in the evening during and after the game, and then set the stage for what could be a nightmare for me on Saturday, K-State, Wichita State in Coke Arena. So we'll see how that all goes, but we'll let Drew get out of here, and we will be back again tomorrow. We'll talk some more football on tomorrow's show, dive a little bit deeper into just some of the general thoughts, as we're already almost halfway done with portal season. 12 days left for the portal to be open in this window. Kind of nice how much quicker it feels like it's going to move. And also the first Big 12 bowl game gets played tomorrow as West Virginia will face Memphis. So we have all that to look forward to on the 17th, which is Tuesday. For Drew Galloway, I'm Mason Voth. Thanks for watching and listening to K-State Online.